So you're struggling with your eyeshadow creasing, your mascara smudging, your concealer is just not concealing. So many people have these issues. Do not worry. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some really actionable tips on how to resolve these issues, new ways to look at how to do your makeup, things you might be missing, things you might be doing a little bit wrong, small tweaks that I'm going to teach you today on how to fix these problems that you can actually do tomorrow with your own makeup products. This video idea came about from last week's video. I was filming right here with my mum and she was just saying, just talking, and you can go back and see that video, and she just was asking so many questions about makeup that to me as a professional makeup artist of 11 years was just so so easy. But I really have to remember that and remind myself. It's good to remind myself, because of what I do here on YouTube is to teach you guys things. And what I find to be easy and straightforward and self-explanatory is completely not for other women, and that's totally fine. It's just me that needs reminding to really simplify and break it down for people sometimes. So that's what we're doing in this video. I wrote down some of the things that Mum was asking in that last video, and I also asked yesterday here on YouTube. I put a post out asking for your guys to let me know what you're having issues with as well, and I got some really fantastic questions. We're going to address those today as well in the video. So if you've struggled with any of these issues, please hit that like button so I know you're enjoying this video. So let's get into number one. Your concealer is not concealing, okay? I've seen this issue really so much on women and with my mum as well. I have demonstrated here how not to apply your concealer and to blend out your concealer. So many women, they put their concealer on and then straight away go in and swipe it around to blend it out, okay? And I understand that, but it also makes not much sense to do it that way, because you are moving it around other areas where you don't want it to, where you don't need the concealing. You want to let the concealer do its job and be where you want it concealed. So sliding and wiping it off like this, a lot of people swipe their concealer on like this. It's then going where we didn't want to put it in the first place. So the more effective way, which I will show in the video as well, is to let it dry down first for a few seconds as well. That's super important, because you want the concealer to have time to a little bit self-set, okay? This helps it not be so liquidy and slip and slide too fast away. And then you want to pat. We are always, always, always patting our concealer, looking up and patting it. Pat, 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 pat it into where we want it. So that's patting is your blending motion. That's blending it into your skin rather than sliding it and swiping it away. You're going to be patting. And it's a really hard habit to crack, that because it's something you do every day if you wear makeup all the time. And instead of just going like this, really let it set for a few seconds, do your brows, do your bronzer, something else, and then come back and pat it out instead of swiping. If you have too much and you want to shear the coverage out, then that's fine, you can swipe it away, but try to get into the habit of patting your concealer into place and concealing where you want concealing. I hope that makes sense, and this is like one of my top tips that I hope you take away from this video. Number two. Your eyeshadow looks great when you leave the house, and then a few hours later you go to the bathroom and you're like, what has happened? It has kind of disappeared. It's all oily. It's congregated in the line where our eyes open. We need it. The fold here. It's all congregated there, and it's not on the lid where you put it, okay? You spend all this time on your eyeshadow and you're like, have to go in and smear it out again. It is a solution, but if you use an eyeshadow primer, okay, this is primer. It primes your eyelids for eyeshadow, and I just think it's a category that so many people don't even know about. There's not like hundreds of them on the market. They're a little bit, I guess, more of a smaller category of a step. So this one's from Rare Beauty. I also like the one from Fenty Beauty, and makeup artist brands have them, like MAC Cosmetics, NARS have them. You know, they're not new, but it might be new to you. So you could try it out. Eyeshadow primer, they last ages. You just need a little bit. I have a video of me putting it on here. Pop it on the lids. Blend it out really well. You really want to make sure it's blended out beautifully, because if it's not, then your eyeshadow that you put on top is going to get a little bit patchy and not blend nicely. And once you put it on, you do want to make sure you grab a fluffy brush like I do in the video and dust over a little bit of a like sheer or skin color kind of base, just so that it's not so sticky. So what the primers do is they create a bit of a tackier base, and just a great surface for eyeshadow to stick to and help it not move around too much. But that can be a little bit too much. So you do want to put a little bit of a powder on the top first, so that way when you put your other colors on, they blend and diffuse together beautifully. So try an eyeshadow primer. Let me know in the comments down below, have you heard of eyeshadow primers before? Maybe you have, you just never tried them. I would love to know if this is like a whole new category that you've never heard of. Leave that down below. Mostly they're very sheer color, but a lot of them are flashy colors. I know like NARS Cosmetics do darker skin color toned options, which is great. And consider an eyeshadow primer if you are putting effort. I don't use these every day at all, but I use them on my clients when they've booked a makeup service. Obviously they want their makeup to last as much as possible, but on myself, I'm not using these every day. That is way too much effort. But if you are going to the effort to do your makeup and you're going for a night out and you're doing a lot of eyeshadow work, then it is a nice idea to use an eyeshadow primer just to help give you longevity. So a question that I got from one of you guys is, mascara is smudging under the eyes even when wearing waterproof mascara. Now, I know all about mascara smudging because it happens to me all the damn time. Because I live in Hong Kong, it's humid. I've said it 1,000 times, but if you've been here in the summer, you know what I mean. It is just something else. And it's winter here right now, and my mascara is not smudging. Hallelujah. But mascara smudging, it's something I'm really used to. So consider a few things. My mum's mascara was smudging so much when she first arrived, even though I'm sure it's probably smudging more back in Sydney because it's summer there. But here it's winter and her mascara was still smudging. And I noticed that I think it was because her face was still so dewy. Hopefully it was because she's wearing a lot of her sunscreen and a lot of moisturizers and hydrating things, which is what you want on mature skin. But your mascara near the dewiness, it's not going to like that, is it? It's going to get dewy and transfer and pick up the dewiness and then smudge essentially. So you need to use a powder. So in the video you can see I'm applying my mascara, and then you need to powder under your eyes. This helps so many things. It'll help your concealer last longer, and it's vital that you have this area not super dewy if you want your mascara to last a really long time. If you get mascara smudging on the top, powder on the top. If you're not wearing eyeshadow, but you still want to powder this area, because when you look up, if it's touching dewy skin, then it's going to smudge. It's just how it is. You could consider a tubing mascara. They are meant to be a lot more smudge resistant. They are amazing. If you still want a dewy texture on your skin, those mascaras are designed to only come off at, if I remember correctly, I think it was like 26 degrees Celsius. Warm water. They're meant to come off with warm water. So in the shower or with a flannel, washing your face, but not, just normal air. They shouldn't come off with, but everything comes off in the summertime here. This is a mascara I'm really loving. I use it in the video. It's not really a tubing mascara, but it lasts amazingly. This is my current favorite mascara right now, linked in the description box. So yeah, really have a think about it. Are you powdering under here? is this area where it's transferring, is it too moist and dewy? Try that, see if that helps. Otherwise, I do have another tip to prevent bottom mascara smudging, but it is not the most budget-friendly or ethical suggestion, but I find that it really helps me, is to get Botox. I know that's a little bit of like a wild thing to say, just to get your mascara smudging, but obviously it's not just for mascara. But I haven't had Botox for over a year now. I will get it again soon. I'm noticing these lines when I'm out and about. They're settling in a bit much. But if you would consider it, it is amazing at reducing the under eye smudging. It all depends on your face anatomy as well. If you have a similar face anatomy to me, it helps because when I laugh and smile, these, crinkle up. And when you have Botox in this region, it reduces that movement. So therefore the skin and the lashes are not touching quite as much. And then I found my mascara doesn't smudge anywhere near as much. My concealer stays more put, everything like that. So that's another thought. Take that as you wish. I'm not saying that you need to by any means, get Botox just for mascara smudging. I'm just saying that's something that I've noticed and that I found was a benefit from when I did have Botox. So always consult your healthcare professionals before doing things like that. So the next one, what is bronzer? I know, but I thought this was a little bit of a silly question, but my mum asked me this question, what's bronzer? And I think it was this palette that I had out, this one that I used, and she was like, what's bronzer? And I was like, oh, it's this one, bronzer. It's what makes, you add it for warmth on the face. You add it to make you look more sun-kissed and sculpted. So I use bronzer in all my tutorials here. I wear bronzer every single day, but maybe not everyone knows what bronzer is. So I've got a video of me putting it on today, and I'm going to put a few more photos on the screen of colors of bronzer and just the vibes of bronzer, what I feel can visually represent bronzer for you. You put it on with a big fluffy brush. You can be very kind of loosely where you apply it. It's a powder, it can be a cream, it can be a gel. It's just like a brown color that helps sculpt the face, add shape and dimension to the face, add warmth to the face, and you generally put it on the outskirts of your face. So yeah, any more bronzer questions, leave them down below. And yeah, I have lots of tutorials of me applying bronzer. I think I have a great video that you could probably watch that's really a bit more detailed. I think it was called like soft sculpting, or how to sculpt your face softly, naturally. I'll leave that link down below, or I'll put it on the screen somewhere here if I remember. That one I really go into bronzer quite deeply, so you should watch that one if this number. Another question from one of you guys was that you apply lip liner but it fades really quickly, especially after applying hydrating glosses. So yes, that is an issue, and I have a solution for you. A few different things to think about, really. This video here, I'm applying my lip liner that I wore today, and then I added a layer of powder on top, a light layer of powder, to actually set my lip liner. This is something you could try, see if it helps. It's all about experimenting, and nothing is going to work exactly the same it does on me as does you. So you've got to experiment, but try applying a little bit of powder on top before you do your lip gloss. And when I put my lip liner, I put it on, I kind of like lightly blur and then put it on again. And so it's all about thin, light layers, and then pat it with some powder and then apply your hydrating lip gloss. Now, if you are applying a lip oil, I feel like that would probably break it down quite quickly just because of the name oil. Oil really emulsifies lip products and makeup in general. So that's probably not the best one to use underneath a lip liner. Lip oil, you just like an all over sheer tint, or add it on top of a full lipstick maybe. But it might be breaking it down if it's a lip oil, and maybe even if it's a lip balm as opposed to a lip gloss. I feel like the formulations of those would be a little bit different. So try just lip gloss products to get that shiny hydrated effect with lip liner underneath, and I don't find mine break down that much. Also, before you apply your lip liner, you want to make sure you don't have any other foundation too much on your lips. Clean your lips off first, because that just will help the lip liner stick on the lips a little bit better. Yeah, and pat off your lip balm first. Yeah, clean your lips first. Make sure they're really free of anything. So in order for your lip liner to stick to the lips really well. Oh, the type of lip liner you're using. So there's two types of lip liners. There is the traditional like wooden pencil style lip liner. That's the one that I use today, where it's like a wood pencil. But then there's also other ones. I'll pop up on the screen. I don't have it right here, where it's a more modern version in the plastic kind of twist up style lip liner. Those ones have generally a tendency to set more, really lock in, like a gel liner, like a gel eyeliner. These ones are a little bit more flexible, and they don't last as long on the lips, but you can play with them and move them around a bit more before they dry down. Where the newer versions, the ones from Fenty Beauty are nice. There's a few. Makeup Forever have a new one from their classic ones, but it's called them Intense or something lip liners. They would last really well. So these ones, they have a little bit more of a locking, setting kind of formulation to them. You could try that as well. That will help make your lip liner last longer and not get broken down by your lip gloss quite as fast. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if I answered all your questions there down below. If you have follow-up questions from what I've just said, please write it down in the comments. So another question, we are on our second last one. Creasing in your smile lines. And thank you, you just replied to me. You meant these ones. Okay, because some people call these ones smile lines, but either way, you'll see in the video that I am demonstrating. This is a little solution you could think of, is to use these little tiny Q-tips. They are so thin. They're basically a toothpick with a little bit of kind of cotton wrapped around them. I got these on Amazon, probably. You can get them online. I really have not seen these things in stores before, but I use these a lot for my, at work as a makeup artist, but also like in my lash lifting. I do lash lifts for clients as well. So they're just something that I have, and they are really great to kind of swipe up and collect the excess concealer or foundation that you have. Depending on how deep your lines are, how much you collect. If you put all your makeup on, you move around, you do a bit of laughing, smiling, and you see the lines, you'll see in the video where they are, you really can just kind of softly take a bit of that out, take a little bit of the excess, before you set your under eye concealer specifically. So when you do a bit of a smile, see where it's settled, swipe out a little bit of excess. You may want to just then pat, then set your under eyes. Also, just try not to put as much makeup on the areas. Like if it's really happening, maybe you're putting on too much base. Maybe your makeup is too thick and you really need to sheer it out and have a little bit less in this area. Often we don't have that many issues just here. It's more like darkness around here or some pimples. Everyone's a little bit different, but consider that. Try a little bit of this. Try some powder and try a little bit less makeup in that area, but blended and sheared out, but just maybe a slightly thinner layer of coverage of your base products in that area. I hope that was helpful. So last one is your powder looking too heavy. So you've set your powder, you've finished your makeup, you've set it all off with your powder, which I love for the blurring effect, the smoothing effect. But then you look in the mirror and you're like, oh no, it's too much. Okay, two things. Give it some time. Give it half an hour. Let it mold into your skin. Let it settle in. I promise you 80% of the time it will then be fine. So when I'm doing people's makeup and they look at it and they're like, is it too much? And I'm like, let's get the hair done, put your outfit on, like just let it kind of become one with your face for a little bit first. By the time you've traveled to your location, all that, you will become a little bit more comfortable with it, I will assure you. It's just when you first apply makeup, it's a bit like makeup sitting on top of your face. So think about that. But if you do still feel like it's too much, or you just know it's not going to settle in and you know yourself and you just went a little bit too crazy that day, get a setting mist. This one is really beautiful, but it's coming to the end. But something really fine, a fine micro mist is what I would say. So this one is a micro fitting mist. Maybe that's a little bit of lost in translation because it's a Korean brand. But this is from Jung Sumyu. I really like their products. So impressed with them. And this one is a super, I don't know if you can see that, fine mist. And spraying this on the face once you're finished powdering will just help everything on your makeup just be molded back into your skin a little bit more, and you'll get that skin texture back a little bit more, and it will just feel a little bit more natural. So that's a really good option if you don't want to start again. Obviously, just put a bit of a mist on, give it a few minutes to settle in, and I will assure you everything will, that powdery look will just kind of be reduced a bit. So that's it, the quick and easy fixes that I have prepared for you today, ladies. I really hope that was helpful. If there's any that I missed that you would like me to cover in a future video, I can totally do that. Please leave it in the comments and I will write them all down and save them for future videos, because this is all here for you to feel more confident in your daily makeup. That's what the whole channel is about. If this video was at all helpful to you, or you think you learned something, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, and consider subscribing if this is your first time meeting me. Really nice to meet you, and I hope you stick around and join the community, the small little community that I have here on YouTube, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.